Hi everyone and welcome to the EHEF Indonesia 2021 Institution Talk Show. Good afternoon to those of you who are in Indonesia and good morning to our respected speaker in Europe. It's really great to see everyone here and thank you for your time in joining and attending this auditorium. A little introduction about myself. My name is Suchi and I will be your moderator throughout the session at Auditorium 1 today. Before we get started, for all attendees, you will have the opportunity to submit questions to the presenter by typing your question on the side of your YouTube screen. And you can send your questions at any time during the presentation. But we will collect this and address them during the Q&A session right after the presentation. Yeah, so I would like now to introduce our amazing speaker, Miss Renilde Knappels. Hi, Miss Renilde. Yeah,
hello.
So hello.
Hello from Brussels.
Hello from Brussels. It's morning there, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So Ms. Renilde is the Policy Advisor of Internationalization of Study in Flanders. Ms. Renilde, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I will share my screen now. I hope it works easily. So,
yeah, we can see that.
Okay, thank you very much. So we are going to talk about study in Flanders and Brussels. As we already explained before, and maybe you know, we have two higher education systems in Belgium, in the Flemish part and in the French-speaking part. So I speak for the Flemish part. This is what we are going to talk about. So I'm going to start immediately to make sure we have enough time to discuss also your questions at the end. First of all, explaining a little bit about Belgium. As you see here, we are in the middle of Europe. So the white spot is Flanders. The capital is, of course, Brussels, as you know, and the neighboring countries are the Netherlands to the north, Germany, and then Luxembourg and France to the south. We are one of the founding members of the European Union. The total population of Belgium is 11.5 million, and we have 3 official languages, Dutch, French, and German. So then the Flemish part, Flanders, is a federated entity of the federal state of Belgium with 6.5 million inhabitants, so a bit more than the French-speaking part. And the official language there is Dutch. Then Brussels, it's a small capital actually, 1.2 million inhabitants. Some of your cities in Indonesia are much bigger, I imagine. So it's very easy to navigate Brussels with a lot of international organizations. As you know, the headquarters of EU, European Commission, and so on. Also NATO are located in Brussels, which bring about, of course, many other international organizations. And then if you would like to visit surrounding countries or you have friends studying somewhere else, it's very easy to travel by train to Amsterdam, Cologne, Paris, even to London. You can go by train in less than 2 hours. Now, why would you have to study in Flanders and Brussels? We thought about this and talking to international students, we came up with 6 reasons. And the first one is, of course, the level of our higher education institutions. I think we can safely say that you can get excellent higher education. We hear this from the students. We also see this in the rankings. So it's a safe choice. Then also the price is interesting. So not only the level, but the excellent price quality ratio is really something to look at if you think about tuition fees, cost of living, and so on. The society in Belgium is very open. As you saw, we have 3 official languages, but on top of that, English is widely spoken. We are a very open society. Brussels is super diverse. We have 180 nationalities in Brussels with over 100 languages spoken. So you will always find someone, if you start feeling homesick, to speak your own language. Then we are in an economically strong region. Flanders really has some very strong sectors. Logistics is one of them. For example, this is the picture of the port of Antwerp. Chemical industry, pharmaceutical industry, nowadays very important. We have a Pfizer factory, for example, blue economy, like on the North Sea. So we have some very good, strong sectors. And also what is typical is that our higher education institutions have very strong connections to businesses and industries. So in terms of research, in terms of internships, in terms of speakers in your classes, sometimes there is a very good connection also to the work field. Then, of course, as I already said, we are at the heart of Europe. This is a picture of the European Commission building here in Brussels. Not only we have a lot of international companies and organizations you could actually find an internship at, for example, but also we have every now and then people from all over Europe coming to Brussels. So you could also network beyond Belgium context, let's say. And of course, life is not bad in Belgium. Here we have a picture of the city of Ghent. This was, of course, the rather crowded festival. Nowadays, we are a bit more careful. But for example, this weekend is the Light Festival in Ghent. And it's an outdoor event. We think it will bring about 1 million people to travel to the city of Ghent. They will use face masks and COVID pass. So we are a bit more careful, of course, these days. But we still have a lot of things going on. Then higher education. The structure of the higher education system in the Flemish system is that we have two types of institutions. We have universities or research universities and universities of applied sciences. You find this in, let's say, half of the EU countries. This is the case, for example, also in the Netherlands, Germany, Sweden, and so on. Then we have here, you can see what you can study. You should see this in two horizontal lines. The top line here, what you see is the degrees you can get in a university. So it starts with a bachelor and then we call it academic bachelor. On the degree, it will say bachelor, but to make the difference, we say academic bachelor, then master, PhD, or maybe also advanced master in between. At a University of Applied Sciences is here the second horizontal line. We have associate degrees, but they are mainly taught in Dutch. So maybe that's not so easy for you. We have more English taught programs at the level of bachelor. And then in this case, we call it professional bachelor because it's more practice-based education with internships compulsory and so on. You could also have an advanced bachelor, but then it's still a bachelor degree. And if you want to go to a master, you can do so in a university, but you would still have to do a bridge program after your professional bachelor. The credits are here. So we have bachelor programs for 180 credits or 3 years of study, mainly with some exceptions, and masters for 60 or 120. Then the names of our universities. We have 5 universities, you can see them here, and 13 universities of applied sciences. Excuse me. Then we have English taught study programs. Of course, all programs are taught in Dutch, but for international students, they mainly look at English programs. So here you find we have an increasing number every year of study programs at all different study levels, from bachelor to master to PhD. If you want to find your program, I would say go to our website, studyinflanders.be, and there you will find study programs, and we have a very easy to use program search engine there, and you will find all programs with the links connecting you directly to the institution where this program is on offer. If you would like to know more about international students and how they experience studying here, we also have some videos on our website, and we have an Instagram account and a Facebook account where students take over the account for 1 week. So student ambassadors share their story about whatever they're studying, their life, how they experience life here as a student in Belgium. Then tuition fees, I said the price quality ratio is very interesting. Tuition fees for Belgian and EU students, so if there's any among you who has an EU passport, this also applies, is this year 960 euros. It will go up slightly, it may be 970 next year, but it's still in this price range. For international students, some programs are offered at the same price. Most programs are a bit more expensive. This can be 2,000, 3,000, up to 6,000 is the average, and then a few are more expensive. So I cannot tell you one specific price. You really have to check the price of each program. Even within the same university, you can find different tuition fees for different programs. The admission criteria are rather easy, I would say. We don't ask certain scores if you are in your high school still and you want to start a bachelor, but we do ask your degree, your previous degree, a proof of English proficiency, and then for some specific programs we also need GMAT or SAT scores. For example, for engineering programs, you will have to provide those probably as well, except if you have been in an international school, let's say the French school, or if you have an IB, some programs we know very well internationally, then you might not have to do this. We have very few entry examinations. All medical studies they start in Dutch, so that's probably not so interesting, teaching degrees as well, but fine arts and music can be also in English, and there you of course have to do an entry kind of examination or show your portfolio. The admission deadlines also differ from one institution to another. They start around February, March for international students. So start checking now, because again, they are not the same from one university to another. Then the cost of living, I would say some students say they have enough with 700-800 euros. To be on the safe side, we put here 850 to 950 euros a month, and this includes housing. Of course, basic housing can be found around 400 euros, or in some places even less. But if you arrive, let's say in September, when the academic year will soon start, the cheaper places might already be gone, and you will find a place for 500 euros maybe. So that, of course, then means that your cost of living per month will also be a bit higher than for local students. Books and courses usually are not so expensive. And then food and personal expenses, I think, is, well, the same as the surrounding countries, our neighboring countries. Health insurance is also very easily accessible and very cheap in Belgium, and we have all kinds of measures in place for cheap transportation for students in Belgium through the university, and also students at the age of -26 have all kinds of cheaper transportation tickets for trains and buses in Belgium. For your student visa, of course, you if you don't have an EU or EEA passport, you need a student visa. You would have to prove your solvency, and this is established by a set amount of money per month. So if you need a residence permit for 12 months, it would come down for this academic year to 679 euros times 12. This amount is checked and adapted every spring. So I would say check again around February, March, April. It may go up 5 or 10 euros a year, so not much, but a little bit. And this is something you really have to prove. The universities can help you with this, for example, to have a blocked account where you put the money in advance so that you can easily process your student visa. Of course, also your admission letter from the university, and here you find all the websites where you find more information. We also have scholarships, of course. We have some Erasmus Plus scholarships you have maybe heard about already in the first session this morning. Then we have the Mastermind Scholarship Program, which is funded by the Flemish government. It's open for all countries and all study fields. And then we have another specific study scholarship for 15 specific master programs for students from 31 countries, and Indonesia is one of those 31 countries. So this is also a very interesting option for you. And then we have some scholarships offered by the university for some specific field of study, maybe, or it can be a tuition fee waiver. So this is rather exceptional, but it also exists. Now, very often we get the question, can you work during your studies? Yes, you can. Legally, I say legally, you can work 20 hours a week. But immediately, I have to say that it's far too much to work 20 hours a week to be successful in your studies. So we would say count on working half a day a week or maximum 1 day a week to be able to combine it with all your study work. After your studies, you can also stay. This is what we call the orientation year. You can apply before you run out of your residence permit for an orientation year permit, which then allows you to stay 12 more months to find a job or start your own business in Belgium. And then again, also you have to prove your solvency. But this can also be done through let's say you have a student job already. If your contract will continue until you find a real job and you make more than 679 euros a month, this can also count as a proof of solvency. You will find all this information on our website in English, and also the immigration office has it in Dutch and in French, and they promised us to have a translation in English available soon. On the COVID-19 situation, I can say a few things. So all the students went back to campus this academic year. They have face-to-face classes again. For international students, we arranged that, of course, it's better to be vaccinated when you come, and also better to have, if possible, a European recognized vaccine, because you will need the COVID safe ticket for restaurants and bars and events. But if you cannot have a vaccine in your own country, you can be vaccinated for free in Belgium. That's all arranged for, that's no problem. And if you want more data, we have this website, cienzano.be, which is the Federal Health Institute, and they will have all the data available. Now we are ready for the Q&A. So I'm curious to hear about your questions.
Thank you, Ms. Renilde, for the amazing presentation. So I'm going to read out several questions that have been submitted in. The first one is from Francisca. Currently, I'm working as supply chain. I have a bachelor degree in science, pharmacy precisely, and master degree in management. Also, I'm pursuing FIATA diploma. Am I eligible to apply for it? To study in Flanders, yeah, maybe.
Yes, so you will have to apply directly at the university where you can study the program of your choice. So you should first find a program. You can go to our website, studyinflanders.be, and find programs. And then contact the university, or maybe more than one university, directly. I have to say it's not very common in Belgium to change from study field. So it would really have to relate to your bachelor degree. And then they will let you know what the admission criteria are for the master of your choice.
Okay. Okay, hope it clears for you, Francisca. So we go next. It is from Gina Gunarto. Good afternoon. Is there any application policy related to applying for the FLIR UOS Master Scholarship for someone who had a master's degree before?
Yes, I think it's still applicable that you can apply for this scholarship program. So there are 15 master programs. If you go to this website, you will find those 15 fields of study and the deadlines for application. it may be that the institution has internal deadlines which are earlier. So you have to, I would say, start working on this immediately, because some universities take in all the candidates for scholarship programs and then see if they can apply for this program or another program, and some work up till the end, till the official deadline. So this depends on the university.
Okay, I think Gina needs to write that down right now. Okay, we go next. This one is from Ilham D. I'm currently working as Geography Information System Coordinator. I have a plan to enroll study in Belgium in 2022, self-funding. And will I get the additional job according to my experiences in Belgium?
Additional job, you mean during the studies? Or
I think he needs to make it clear, but I think it's more like part-time job. Yeah, outside of the study, but within his
you can apply, but the experience we hear from international students is that it's not so easy to find jobs if you don't speak any Dutch or any French. We do have a lot of international companies. Like the other day, I met a student who is an accountant, and she works in an international company, and she doesn't speak Dutch, and she is also working part-time, and she spread her master's degree in 2 years and is self-funded, so that's possible. But careful for your student visa, you have to be a full-time student. And on top of that, you can work 20 hours. So you have to make sure that you get enough credits every year. This is something to look at. So you can apply for jobs, yes. But how to say, I cannot say how fast you will find a job and how long you would have to be able to fund yourself during your study.
Great. The next question is more similar. It's from Jonathan. Is it hard for international students to get a work opportunity after graduated in Belgium?
Well, after graduation, this orientation year is very new. We just started this year, 15th of August, the procedure opened. So we are at the beginning of this. I think it really depends on the field. We have a lack of certain students, like graduates, in accounting, in engineering, in IT, and so on. But in other fields of study, maybe it could be harder. But in general, we have, our companies in general have a lot of vacancies right now. During the COVID, they were kind of waiting to hire new staff. And now we hear that everybody wants to hire, and we don't have enough even people in certain sectors. So, but I could not give you numbers because we just started with this orientation year. So maybe in 2 years from now, we have a bit more data on this.
Okay, thank you for that. I think we have one last question, Renilde, from the participant. This one is from Elia. Can student with high school certificate from school with Indonesian national curriculum, not an IB one, to go straight to bachelor degree university in Belgium?
You can certainly apply. The law here says that students who have a degree, a high school degree that would give access to university in their own country, can apply for higher education in Belgium, in the Flemish higher education system. That's the law. Then it, of course, depends on your study program. For example, if you choose engineering, you need a strong background in mathematics. If you choose languages, you need a strong background in languages. So this, of course, depends on the program. But I would say apply, get in touch early. They may say you have to take the SAT test, or the JMAT scores have to be provided, and then you still have time to do those tests. But yes, it is possible. Also, if you look at our website, you see there is a video with a student from Colombia, Latin America, who said, I did not have an IB, and I had to do some extra tests, and the admission process went very smoothly.
Okay, Great. I think that was the last question for now. Thank you so much, Renilde, for your amazing presentation and answering all the questions. We come to the end of the session, and thank you for participants as well for participating. As a reminder, before we close the session, the virtual event is happening at the virtual booth. So if you want to get as much information about study in Flanders or other universities as well, you can go and visit their booth outside. So
Okay.
yeah, on behalf of the EHEF 2021 organizer, thank you, Renilde, and everyone for joining us, and see you in the next session.